Day, interface day. I am adding a little terminal at the bottom of the main menu. When you're in any of these other sub-menus, there's this little terminal display for hovering over things. That's where I'm going to show descriptions of stuff you have your mouse over. It's like when you put your mouse over the buttons, it'll tell you what they do. I originally in the old project it did have a little display area at the bottom here, so I thought about just adding that in so that I could also include that in this project. And oops, I forgot I was in full screen. I don't know that I want to be, but well, as long as it keeps streaming this, it doesn't mess up. So now it just shows this along the bottom. It doesn't do anything yet. There's nothing to display, but you'll see these little indicators and everything. The mouse over title or the cursor tooltip there, that stays. Oops. Everything stays adjusted to this main camera area, main play area. Since I've attached all the positioning stuff to the size of the camera field, I can make adjustments to the entire play area if I want, and all of this will still work. It'll still adjust to the screen size. So all I had to do is readjust my camera field here. So everything will get repositioned. I actually have to, maybe I don't. That is all still centered. Let me move these up just a little bit. Dun, 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 dun. Kind of towards the top, I guess. So I don't have the discovery stuff implemented yet. I've been going through kind of making changes how some of the interfaces overlay so that I can get all the buttons working, but I'm just working on this little terminal right now. Come back into my world creator. Just put together the pieces that I needed for that bottom part. So there's going to be a separate section down here. I can turn these on and off separately from this, or I can hide these. So the way that it's set up right now is usually this sidebar, these buttons, and this terminal thing. Usually you'll see this on almost every interface, or at least you'll see the terminal that's part of that interface at the bottom. So first thing I want to do, I want to grab one of these text displays that I have already and just get the position for it, and come back over to my buttons. I'm going to drop this in here and turn off the snap to grid here so I can get this in exactly the position I want it. Might already be, yeah. 187. That's wrong. There we go. Scoot it over. There we go. I want it to have a little bit of space there so it's actually in the black area. Right now that's not going to retrieve any text. It's not going to update. I can leave word wrap on for now, but what I want this to do is display, like quick information on a planet or something. So if you haven't, let me get rid of that. If you haven't scanned a planet or something, it might say, type question mark, question mark, question mark. We'll add a break there. Temperature, a couple values or something. 22. Break. It would display something like that. These will all be question marks until you scan the planet, pretty much. So it won't it won't be able to tell you anything until you've scanned it. And once you've scanned it and you dock, it'll show more detailed information. I keep forgetting to turn that off. Come on. Can't hit escape until it's done loading. So I don't want to test it in full screen right now. Keep it in windowed mode. For now, that'll just... Oops. I have no idea what just happened. Does this have another script in it somewhere? No. That was weird. Okay. So you'll click on a planet and then it'll just show some basic information. And I gotta think of if I want to include like more details on this side or something, but I'll just have the basics. So once you scan the planet and you dock at it, you can see all the detailed information over here. But then you'll have to do the deep scan of the surface, but it'll show whatever you've got selected. So like a type will be station, and I think instead of temperature or hazard ratings, it'll be like the faction that owns the station or something. So that'll be like human faction. Probably something like alignment, like a neutral rating or allied or reputation. Something to do with reputation. Out of range.
Entering planetary orbit.
And I don't know if you noticed, I'm trying to fix the screen transition, the fading time. I have to go through and actually clean up some scripting related to that. So all the times are the same. I'm using a rather long fade in time actually. I want it to fade in closer to 0.35. I have a bunch of these set to fade in at 1 second, and that's not what I want. In a lot of cases I have to go through and fix that, but there's lots of teeny tiny little things I keep catching. So I might not really get to anything super interesting tonight, but I want to make the terminal down here so I can get the basic information about planets and objects before you dock at them. I still have to figure out a good layout and where to put the speed and shield and stuff. The original project, you had like a little HUD around the player ship that would just kind of float around with it in the center of the screen. I'm debating whether to stick with that. I kind of like it off to the side because it does get a little busy when you have everything just floating in the center. It had the ammo count, fuel count, shields and health and all that. So let's start with the flight menu. So I want this. Not really sure how I want to do this just yet. Whether I want to retrieve a collection or a value in a variable or something. But whenever you mouse over something in space, I want it to be able to display here. So let me think. I think I can just do a... I can manually set the field value, or I can store it in a variable and have this turn on whenever that variable is not empty, but I'm not sure if that's how I want to do it. So whenever you put your mouse over any of these objects or click on it, whenever you click on it, mouse touch down. This is a little bit messy still. got a lot of cleanup to do, which I might get to tonight. So maybe if you want to watch how I do cleanup and commenting and all that. But so I'll run the activated trigger on this actor when you click down, and every single one of these. Oh gosh, do I even have? Yes, I do. No, I don't. There is no activated trigger. Forget why I did that. I think I was using some idea from my old project, so really I just need it to be mouse down. It doesn't actually have to activate the actor at all. Positions of the frames. Let me think really quick. For now, I can just manually change it. That'll be the flight buttons. Oh my gosh, flight buttons menu. And right now, I gotta change the name of this. Oops, it's the same name as another field on another interface, so I want to fix that really quickly. Go back to my buttons. I'll just change to menu hover info BG and menu hover info for the display. And then back over here to my space objects. And I'll have it set the value. So I actually have to do a little bit of thinking. I would like it to do two things. If the object has been scanned, show one set of variable or one set of values, and if it hasn't been scanned, it'll show question marks. So first I want to set it up to what it would show, and this is going to pull from the currently selected actor. I would like it to, the first thing I want it to show is the type. So it'll be object type variable, and I'll have it say type, and if I add another ampersand, do Alt 0182, you get a little page break, or line break, not page break, line break to add another line. So let's just say I want to get the temperature for now, and we'll copy that, cut it out, and we'll grab another actor variable here. I want the actor that's currently selected, and I think I've got all those inside a statistics collection. Yes, I do. So I want the temperature. I'm going to paste this so it's in front of that. I'll just test that. I want to copy this little event really quick and then come back over here to my cursor, because in my cursor I have the deselection scripts, and this is for space object deselection, deselect objects. Have to re-comment a lot of these. Is an object currently selected. This clears out the currently selected object. This turns off the frame, and I'll scoot these up. Oh yeah, and I want this to set it to nothing. So I'll just set it to blank. well, I'll give that a go. Now when I click on an object, it should show me just the basic type and temperature. For now, that's all I want. Oop, why? Oh yeah, I forgot to change the name. It's menu hover. All the time, every time I do this. So I want it to say menu hover info. So now when I reopen it, it'll all be correct. And then go back to my, oops. No. Control scripts. Cursor. Forgot that I copy pasted an incorrect event as well. So I want to change that to menu hover info. Give that a go. Okay, anyone not familiar, I do work overnight, and this is what I do when I'm working, so sometimes I have to go to work or help somebody. Alright, let me see if I get this to work again. Alright, there we go. So, this one does not have a temperature value because it's a station. So there's a few things that I gotta do in regards to what data these are pulling. So that's gonna break. Wait 1 second, I'm gonna fill up my water bottle. Okay, so it doesn't work with stations yet. All the plans still show the type and all that. Except what I want it to do is if it's not scanned, I want it to show question marks. So I'm going to go in here again. Now, what I actually want to do is create a script in my text display here. So instead of manually setting it, I think a better way I'll do it is to have it turn on if currently selected is not nothing. So this will check to see if there's something currently selected stored in that variable, in the currently selected variable. When you click on any object, it stores the ID in this currently selected variable here. So All this is going to do is check to see if it's empty. If it's equal to nothing, that's double quotes. Nothing is double quotes and 001. So it's retrieving the visibility. So it'll return a 1 if this is nothing, and it'll return a 0 if it's selected. Or it'll return a 1 if it's not nothing, I mean. That's confusing to say. So this is this symbol for not, and this is the symbols for nothing. So if there's something there, it'll turn on. That's a little bit confusing. So you come over here to this little square. This is the retrieve text use value. So I want to create a script inside here. And what I want to do is do a multi-comparison branch. And we want to check. I'm going to check the template of the currently selected object. And that's going to be a star, a planet, a station. That's all I've got to select at the moment. I think there's slightly more. There's also ships and stuff, but I'll get to those, and I'll add those in here later. So this will give me these branches that I can use to return what I want. And for a star, those are always scanned. You'll always know the name of the star, so I think I can just paste that in here. I'm going to go grab the actor variable of the currently selected object type, or I mean object temperature, I think is what I wanted. Oops. Surface temperature, yeah. And I want to add that I copy pasted earlier. So this will give me a stars info, and we'll go ahead and connect the planet to it too, because they both have a temperature and a type value. And for my stations, I want to get rid of all that. Get this variable here again, and I don't remember. Object type. There's going to be another value, I think a station faction or something like that. So for now, I'll just have type, and I'll just add planet into this comment here. I'll just have everything else be a station at the moment. Now first, actually I don't want planet connected to that yet. I want these two scooted down, and I want to create a condition branch. And I want to check to see if the actor variable of the currently selected object, or currently selected actor, and where is it? Object scan. I want to check to see if the object has been scanned. So if it has been, it'll return a 1, and if it hasn't, it'll give me a 0. And so the condition branch will follow the left if there's a 1 and the right if there's a 0. So if it has been scanned, it'll give me the info. And if it has not been scanned, I just want to change these. I don't actually need all of this. Type will be 3 question marks, and temperature, we can get rid of all this at the end. Question marks. So if it hasn't been scanned, it'll just give me some question marks. At the moment, stations are already scanned, so I don't need that check right now. But so that's gonna update this field with information. I actually want to get rid of that, and then make sure whenever I click on things here that the correct interface is getting updated. So it's updating my minimap, refreshing the contacts menu, and I would like it to also refresh the flight buttons, update the flight buttons. So give it a go. Okay, so it works for a second and it doesn't work at all, so I must do some investigating. It also doesn't properly give me the full value that I want it to, so let's turn that off. Quickly add an update. Just want to update the flight buttons on its own at the end here. First, I want to disconnect that. Actually, okay, so it saved that. And the info. Oh yeah, this one is annoying because it doesn't let me check the parent template. So it's going to make me do something really dumb here. So Rocky, what are all my all my planet templates? I think I gotta check my lists here. So since I can't check just whether they're planets, it's defaulting that they're all stations. It's rocky, terrestrial, volcanic, frozen, gaseous, copper. I'll just throw those in there for now. Gaseous, gassy. I want all of those to connect to this. And then stations. Ow. So I'm not sure why it doesn't want to update. So let's go ahead and do update real time for this, just to experiment. Okay, yeah. That's why. I had it so it cancels out the value whenever you deselect something. So come back in here. We'll turn that back off. The less things I have set to update real time, the better the performance. If you have something set to update real time, it'll just try and refresh it every frame. There we go. So instead, I want it to come in here. Have it update the flight buttons, so it updates that little console. Just adding in some commenting. There we go. Got comments everywhere, comments everywhere. I like to add comments. I have discovered that if I don't do that, I come back. If I ever take a break and I come back a month later, 2 months later, half a year later, looking at everything is like spaghetti. It's just like completely nightmarish. So it's good to have comments on all the things so I can break things back down again and I know what the heck everything's doing. There we go. So now it updates and deselects, turns that off. Say the type is trade station, and the name's going to be up here. So now,
Scanning.
give it a scan. And we want those values to update whenever it scans, so I'll come over here to my scanning operation. And we'll also have it update the flight buttons menu. So it'll update the context overlay to determine whether or not to disable buttons. And then it will update the flight buttons terminal here. And it should refresh it with the new value. Once you scan it, my question mark should turn into information.
Scanning.
Boop. There we go. All that's missing is the temperature degrees, and then I'll probably have another bit of information for planets, and there's definitely going to be more information for stations, factions, and reputation, and all that. Planets, I think I'm going to go with hazard rating or something, so if the hazards are low or high or whatnot, but I'm not sure if...
Entering planetary.
Because you don't get the hazard rating until you scan it from inside the orbit. So, these are all stats that are plopped together in one single statistic. So I gotta think. I'll have to figure something out. I've also got an issue with this system now deactivating this button for some reason, which it shouldn't be.
Plant life detected.
Huh. That's not correct either. I haven't run into that issue before, where my game crashes while I'm trying to dock or drop a rover.
Entering planetary orbit.
Huh. In flight buttons, ship speed. Oh. I know. Turn these off really quick. The interface that I have open is trying to retrieve values from the player ship, which is not currently doing anything. The rover gets past the main player control. So there we go. It's trying to determine the speed value for the ship. So right now it's trying to find the ship's energy, which I'll turn that off for now as well. What I can do is set those to only be active whenever the player is on the flight menu, or the flight screen here.
Scanning.
Docking.
Entering planetary orbit.
So, I'm gonna go back to my to-do list and add that bug that I just found. Oops. Go in here. Fix orbit menu deep scan button so it stays active while scanning. And then when you go back into space, the terminal switches back to the statistics of the planet that I've got selected, or the object that I've got selected.
Docking.
Okay, so I haven't done much work on the station menu yet. Just said much twice. Okay, so there's something, I think it's just, actually I'm not sure. Something somewhere is giving me a little bit of a performance drop, but shouldn't be. So let me go through some of these fields here. Make sure everything's set correctly. So these I only want these to be visible if the flight menu is on. So let me turn that on. Get out of here. And flight menu is on. We'll say the same thing here. And do an and. So that should only, actually, I'll make sure those are all turned on. I want them to be visible right now while I'm flying around in space, but then turn off when I enter a menu. So now I've got, oh, did I forget to turn on, I forgot to turn on the energy bar. Turn on my energy bar. Up, 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 up. So those are currently the three main statistics I have is shields, hull, and ship energy, which you'll use while thrusting around You can see it going down, and the speed bar that'll show you how fast you're going. So let's give that a try, see if those turn off correctly. They should turn off when I go into the menu.
Entering planetary orbit.
There we go. And now when I go to the planet, I have no errors, because it doesn't try to check the player's ship. I can do the same to all of these. They're all set. Wait. Oh, it's because everything's set to update real time. I'd have to include another update interface. Okay, so for now that'll slow things down. I'll find a way around that once I get the correct interface layout. I want those kind of inset in the interface in their own little shadowy inset, sort of like the buttons are. So do a scan.
Entering planetary orbit.
Okay, everything's working except for my button here. Alright, let me make sure all of the other things do the same. So that doesn't have a type. I haven't added the value yet. And then we've got M-class star. So it'll tell you the title of the object. It says yellow right now. It's because I didn't ever change it to blue. So I can go back in here. I'll fix that really quick. So this is multiple values. Its scripting ID is yellow star and its display name is yellow star. So I want to actually come in here and just rename it blue star. And then the type is stored here. So the object type will be M-class star. So it's got a name and a type. The name will always be displayed up in the top corner at the minimap. And then the type will show up down here or in the docking menu. So it'll be a question mark when it's unscanned. Show the name there. Ethos.
Entering planetary orbit.
And I might put like a title logo or something, or not even logo, like a title for the planet or object that you're on. So let me make sure everything's right. Turning off as it should. Flight buttons is on. So
Entering planetary
cool.
orbit.
This way I can work with my nested interfaces just a little bit better. I like having this bottom frame here. I could put some stuff in these little corner spots, but I don't know what to put in there yet. Or if I want to, because I would like these to be somewhere in this little bar, the sidebar. Okay, and we'll come over here. Just give this a type. Black hole. Because it's a black hole, it doesn't have any other type. Okay, interface stuff. So, I would like to make a few things. Not 100% which one I want to start with. I'd like to do the main menu. There is if you look at the flight buttons here, there's a main menu option down here that will open up like your options, your save game stuff, your exit game, and right now I just have hitting the escape closes the game, and in most games you have like a confirmation, like little confirmation pop-up. Yes, I'd like to quit the game, or would you like to save? I want to kind of fit that in here. In the old project, that takes a while to load because there's a whole bunch of sprites. A lot of little 3D objects. And the 3D stuff's why I stopped working on this, because it was just absurd. So in the old project, the main menu, it's basically just a square in the center of the screen with the choices. And it's got a bunch of little sub-menus for saving and loading the game, audio options, volumes, and stuff. And those will have stuff like sliders, and right now the old version I'm just using this kind of basic setup where these will change color depending on whether the audio value is a certain amount. So I found some different ways to do these. This is a cool visual. I'm going to use this visual, I think, and make a volume slider that you can change. Or I might just have a volume slider with, like, you know, one of those visual triangles that lights up as you slide the slider to the right. I'll go into how to do that. Let's see, what all sections do I need? So there's a few that I want to include, like turning on and off the AI voice that tells you you're scanning stuff and whatnot. So first thing I want to do, I kind of just want to grab a little screenshot of this main screen. Go back over here. And I will create a new interface. Just call it main menu. So I don't actually know what I want it to look like yet. So I usually design these using a window sprite, and I'll just call this main menu background for now. Don't need it to display a shadow, don't need it to update. And I've got a whole bunch of random little pieces that I can use. Just have to pick one that would work best, and it's not going to be any of those. Where did I put it? I have a piece that I'm using for a lot of just example stuff. And I think it's UI. Oh, where is it? And I'll just use this. So this will give me this little square. It's going to tell me that's too small, but I know. So for now, I just kind of want to make a little square. So I'll cut this. I'll come over to the flight menu here, and this is going to be somewhere in the middle of this big box. So I want to line it up with these white dots, and looks like this could be a little bit higher. The coordinates are going to be different because they're aligned at the corner, but there we go. So that's at the center of my screen. I would like to align that by the center like that so I can put it right in the middle. And there we go. And then from there I can just increase the size. All of this stuff here is now no longer centered because I resized the entire camera. So let me scoot everything up to the middle of the screen. Excuse me. And I'm just going to stretch this out just a little bit, so it's still at the center. 2, 1, 2. I'd like this to be a square, so we'll make it 320 by 320. And it's still at the center, so that'll just be the basis of my main menu screen. So I'm just going to copy that coordinate, grab that, go back over here, paste it in, turn off snapping with this little magnet, and paste in the position. So now it'll be exactly where I wanted it to be. This is going to be ugly and terrible. So there's a trick that I can use here. normally with static sprites only, you can rotate the direction, so I can flip that over and make a fake little inset, which is going to look terrible because it's a sprite and it's getting stretched instead of rescaling, but for now I'll just use this crappy little inset placeholder. I mostly just want to create like a confirm exit or escape. Whenever you're playing the game, I can just hit escape and it shuts the game down. So I want it to be set up so when you hit escape, it'll open up this main menu instead. And did I name it main menu? I sure did. Main menu. I'll just call this main menu. I want it to be static black. Line from the center, don't update. It's going to be really ugly. Okay. So that's not what I want it to be. I'll have it say resume game. This will be a temporary menu. Put a couple of these in here. I've got the exit options. Okay. Options. Exit to title screen, exit to desktop. Delete that. Okay, so now what I'm seeing, my menu is a bit taller than I want it to be, so I'm going to try and rebalance where everything is just a little. Let's pretend that's good enough for now. So, come back in here to my regular controls. So whenever I press escape, right now it's set to just close the game window. And instead, I would like to move that and change it to active interface. I'd like to set to the main menu, but we'd like to keep the current active interface that's behind it. We'd like to keep that. So this will just pass the controls over. So that's incorrect naming because I have to go save the interface first. I'm going to come back in here. It still says main menu. Main menu. So now pressing escape should just bring up this little menu screen in the middle. Instead of quitting the game, I get this nice little overlay here. It's going to be textured the same as the rest of the game interfaces once I get to it. So resume, that's going to be our interface cancel. So canceling the interface should return the active interface back to the flight menu. We want to hide the current active interface. Active should be flight buttons, I believe. I'm going to come in here, set the activated to cancel this interface. So I'll just cancel this. When you click on resume game, I've got to set it to selectable first. But selectable, turn all of these to selectable. One second. Okay. Now, escape, resume, cancel, go back to the flight menu. I've got to fix a few things, edit, so it shows the... Oh, I got to fix the order of that scrolling too. Ew. Yikes. I actually don't think I have my interface priorities correct. When I first start the game, I don't have main control of those buttons. I do know how to fix it and how I want to fix it, so I believe that's passing from the flight menu. No, it's not. Am I passing main to the flight menu or what? Oh, I am. Okay, so I'll just give it back to main. Where was I? Main menu. Oops. Instead of the buttons, I'll pass it back to the flight menu. Okay, I can scroll through those. Resume. Okay. So now what I want to do is set it up so that the menu controls come on. This will turn on a switch as well, say that we're in a menu. Oops, switch operation, I mean. On. And we'll do it, oops. We'll enable the menu, disable the space plate. Now I use that way, there's a switch input that I've never gotten to work correctly, so I'm just going to use this. So now whenever it switches to the menu controls, menu escape should run the cancel interface trigger. I would like it so I can just hit the escape key to get out of that main menu. Alright. Now the other part that I need to do when you cancel, I need it to do the same thing. Disable the menu. Enable the flight controls. And we'll have it turn off that switch. Oops. I'm also going to have a pause game event. Whenever you go into the main menu, it'll pause everything and unpause. So I'll just add those here in a second. I want to make sure all my controls come back correctly. So I can click on stuff, go into the menu, escape. So whenever you go into this menu, it clears out the navigation icons. That's actually kind of nice. Turns those off. Actually get a performance boost because they turn off. So resume. Now, so these are all set to be static. So I'm going to set these so that when they're unselected, they are black. When they're selected, they're white. That way I can see that I'm actually selecting them. Oops. Stop it. Alright. Eventually I'm going to replace these with little buttons, sort of like the rest of the game's interfaces. And they'll have like highlight states and all of that. Alright, now I can see what I'm clicking on. These don't do anything. For now, exit to desktop. When activated, I'll just have it say quit game. Instead of opening a confirmation menu right now, make it quit the game. And in the exit to title screen, there's a different one called restart game, and I'll have it actually confirm the restart or quit. So restart game goes back to the title screen. It unloads everything, resets everything to their default values, and basically lets you restart from the main menu or the title screen of your game. So, or whatever screen opens when you first start. So, I'll give an example of that. Exit to title screen, it'll unload and go right back to the title screen. You can come back into the game, this is just like starting a brand new game again. Or you can exit to the desktop and it'll just close out of the game. Oh my God, about an hour. Okay, so I've got my terminal working. I've got a basic basic main menu that I'll be fiddling with. And then I'll create my options menu, my save game, load game stuff. Those are a little bit more complicated because the way that things are saved in 001, there's two different types of save systems. I kind of want to cover that in another video. So there's the built-in system. You can change here with this little tick box in the settings. There's two kinds. If you have this unchecked, the saves in your game are treated like save states. It's kind of like a snapshot of where you are in the game and everything, all the values. And if you make any updates or change your game, you will not be able to load the save states anymore, or they might break. They will try to load things that aren't there. So minimalistic save games, when you tick this box here, the built-in save feature doesn't use a save state snapshot. What it does is it saves everything that is a variable, everything, stores positions of things, map data, the state of all of your collections, all of your tables, and that's it. It doesn't store the values of actor variables. It doesn't store values of interface variables. It doesn't store the values held in temporary areas, temporary values, or temporary variables. So it's actually preferable because you'll be able to create a whole save system that just uses tables and collections. I actually think I'm going to do that in the next video, or start working on my save stuff, and I'll do a few things with my game options. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I will jump back on here very shortly to pick up where I left off with my main menu. Since I haven't talked about it today, if you go to screamingbrainstudios.com, and I was checking out some old space games I like. So if you go to screamingbrainstudios.com, you can get a bunch of free public domain CC0 textures and interface graphics and tile sets and buttons and everything for making games. There's all kinds of free stuff. There's all kinds of free tutorials for making old school graphics, and all kinds of free tools you can get. There's a couple paid tools in here, but most of these are free. You can download all of these and make your own games, make your own graphics. You can read about the Screaming Brain Studios project here as well, but there's links to all the profiles, links to itch.io, links to OGA. Just check it out when you get a chance if you want some free stuff. I will be back shortly with a little bit more about making a save game system, probably working on my volume sliders and stuff. So thanks for checking out these videos. If you guys want to see anything, or if I haven't covered anything that I should have, or if you see any mistakes, let me know in the comments. Thank you for checking out my videos. In the meantime, the support means a lot. I'm just kind of doing this in my free time, so it's something I do for fun, and I'm glad you guys are entertained. Until next time.